the traditional day in Cork County Championship, particularly for the divisions. The Cork County Junior Divisional Finals are all held on this day. Today there are 4 divisional finals going on, and we're at Riverstick here in the Southeast Division to see the Southeast Carrickdown Championship between the men from Courcey Rovers and the village of Ballinspittle, who take on the men from that other western team in the Carrickdown division, the men from Innishannon, under the title of Valley Rovers. Today's contest is expected to be an intriguing one. The men from Valley Rovers, who have had marvellous success in the last few years, lift the title for the first time since 1968. Or can the men from Courcey Rovers lift the title for the first time ever? Remember, until 1975 they were in the Southwest Championship in the Carberry division, and they lifted that championship with regular monotony, as it were, and then came to the Southeast because they felt that the standard of hurling was better. Alas, since then they've played in just one final, and today they come back to do battle in yet another one. One very tenuous link with that team of long ago is Pat Sweetman, but as we talk to you today, we're still not sure of the Courcey Rovers team, and we still don't know if he is playing yet. A fine crowd in place today on a blustery day. The wind is blowing from left to right as we'll be looking at the pitch, and definitely favouring the team that plays up the hill, so to speak. Today then, we set the scene for the Southeast Junior Hurling Final. We're seeing now, of course, the Southeast Junior Hurling Trophy, the piece of silver that this competition is all about today, and the winning captain this evening will be taking that home, well, for further celebrations, I'm sure. Standing with me at this moment in time, I have Leo Lynch, the chairman of the Valley Rovers Club, and also Paddy Fitzgerald, well-known Courcey man. He is the vice president of Courcey Rovers at this moment in time. Paddy, can I come to you first and ask you what you think of today's game?
I think it is a very open affair. I think Courceys have to play very hard. They are a well-disciplined team, and I think the introduction of Kevin Kiley has made an enormous difference to Courcey Rovers.
For our viewers, could you tell us about Kevin Kiley? He's been training the team, but this isn't his first time training them either, of course, is it?
No, he first came to Courceys in 1987, and since he came, he has been a major influence on the team. As I say, they're well-disciplined, and he has instilled confidence into them, which I don't think they had since they came into the Southeast.
Leo, Kevin Kiley instills confidence and a well-trained team. Does that worry the people in Valley Rovers?
Of course, it worries us. But any team in the Southeast final has to be there with a degree of confidence. And, a trainer has, of course, a fairly important input to make in that department. He can motivate players and definitely players to the standards like that we expect from the Southeast final. But
you yourselves, of course, aren't without a trainer in your own right.
No, we're not. No, we've got a little bit of outside help as well, because we felt that over the years there we had players good enough to win the Southeast, and on the day we seemed to let it slip. Maybe some of the decisions taken, on the day might have been a factor in it, so we had a little bit of outside help this year.
Paddy, today, of course, there is a speculation in the Courcey camp as to the final selection of the team, of the way it will look in the end. Is that a worry to people in Courcey Rovers?
Yeah, I'd say it is a worry. Since the start of the campaign, they've played the same 15 from the very start of the championship. And going into today's game, they're worried about Pat Sweetman, who now I believe is playing cornerback, and Johnny Manny, who has definitely tried off the team.
Okay. Leo, just one quick word. A prediction?
Oh, a tight one back. A very tight one, I think.
Oh, Leo?
Possibly, but no more than 2 or 3 points.
And you're not thinking that's going to be for Courcey Rovers?
I'm not, no. The conditions out here today are going to make it difficult to play hurling. There's a very strong wind there. You can see in the preceding game there where the ball was actually falling back and being deflected by the wind, and it's going to be, I think, not a very high-scoring game.
Paddy, a prediction from you?
Well, as I always think in the championship final, a soft goal or two can always decide the championship. Okay. And hopefully today that Courcey will get that soft goal.
Gentlemen, thank you both. We'll talk again at half time. If you're you're to believe those two pundits, of course, it'll wind up as a draw. I'm not sure that that's going to be the one. But the background noise, of course, that you've been listening to for the last couple of minutes is the Carrickdown Cup game between Carrigaline and Saxon that has generated rather high excitement. But as the rain starts to come in again, or looks like it could be a sort of tough, funny afternoon, we'll be back in a shortly. Yeah, just what you think of the match, you think they'll win, and about it's just conversation like we would have normally. The only thing is that when I'm looking at me or look at the camera, Paddy, look at me, look down, Have you off in the
And the executive committee and the chairman of the underage club chairman.
squally shower comes raining down on top of us. I have standing with me Sean Murphy, who is the treasurer of the juvenile sub in Courcey Rovers, and John Newman, who is involved with the juvenile sub in Valley Rovers. First, John, can I ask you for your predictions for today?
Well, my predictions today, as the rain pours down, it doesn't suit Valley Rovers, but after all the years of effort at underage level, starting back in Father Murphy's time, this is the culmination of all the efforts in Valley Rovers to reach this final today. I think we have the players to do it. They have proven it so far. They put in a great hour against Kinsale. Their performance against Kinsale would win any Southeast title, I think. Against Ballygarvan, they played well, they won well in the end, and I think they have the panel today, not to line out, I think they have players in the panel to win this game today.
Sean, John says, of course, that Valley Rovers have had a hard passage to the final, but surely most people would say that Courceys have come through the tougher side of the draw.
Well, I suppose I would agree with that. They were rather lucky, I suppose, to come out on top against Carrigaline, but they won well against Saxon, and I'd be pretty confident today as well that I think Kevin Courtney has instilled great kind of confidence and discipline into the team, and I think it will stand them well today.
That's the second time, Sean, actually, that we've heard the name of Kevin Kiley mentioned today. Do you think that Kevin Kiley is going to do big things for Courceys?
There is no doubt that Kevin Kiley, he has instilled a great spirit into that team. He has got Courceys into a huddling frame of mind, which I think would be a big bulwark against Valley Rovers winning this game today.
Everybody talks about Kevin Kiley. What about your trainer?
I think our trainers, they've come from a great hurling club. Our backup team in the club has been through it all. I need I mention Teddy Manny of Cledove and his helper, as I say, John Granger. Both have been through it. And then in our selection committee, we have Gabriel Sullivan, who was played many years with the club, and David McCarthy, who was in the last winning championship team with Valley Rovers, and together with Don Looney, the greatest motivator, I suppose, of hurling in the club. Right. He has lifted this team.
All right. Finally, Sean, can I ask you for a prediction?
I think, as the previous people have said to you, it's really close. They won't be much more than.
All right, but come on, put your head on the line. Give me a prediction.
I would hope we come out on top.
You hope, predict, yeah.
I think we have the players to do it.
A goal?
A point to do is fine.
A goal?
No maybe. Goal. We have good forwards, I think.
John, a prediction?
I think Valley Rovers will do it. By about 4 or 5 points.
4 or 5 points. Okay, thank you both, gentlemen. We'll talk to you again later on in the game and we'll see how it goes. There you have it then. John Newman says that Valley Rovers will win by 4 or 5 points. That's the most definite pronouncement we've had all day. Okay, you're having your eyes set there, of course, on the men from Inishannon, the Valley Rovers team, and they line out as follows. In goal is goalkeeper Michael O'Sullivan. The full back line is Pat O'Mahony, Don Looney and Michael O'Connell. The half back line is Fergie Tuig, Noel Brady and Tig O'Sullivan. Centre field for Valley Rovers is TJ DC and Padraig O'Sullivan. The half forward line On the right is Martin Cronin, centre forward is Owen Burke, and on the left is Aidan Crowley. And the full forward line for Valley Rovers is Brendan O'Sullivan, Chris O'Donovan and John Shields. Valley Rovers, of course, who come here today to do battle with the men from, as I've said already, Ballinspittle, under the title of Courcey Rovers. And now, of course, we turn to the men from Ballinspittle, and they are, of course, the Courcey Rovers, and they line out as follows. In goal is Teddy Nyan. The full back line is Pat Sweetman, DJ Riley and Gerard Nolan. The half back line is Martin O'Sullivan, Donald Quinn and Dennis Cummins. Centre field for Courcey Rovers today is Dennis Toomey and John Corcoran. The half forward line is Willie Sweetnam, centre forward is Donny Nyan, and left half forward is Donald Crowley. And the full forward line is Gerard Sweetman is on the right, Michael Cahalan is full forward, and Pat O'Leary is top of the left. Changes, of course, on the line out for the Courcey team. Playing today under suspicion of injury is Pat Sweetman, who underwent a fitness test last night, and he came through not with flying colours, I understand. And playing his first game this season for Courcey Rovers is Patrick O'Leary. Patrick, who of course is an outstanding forward of former years for Courcey Rovers, has been their goal scorer in chief for more campaigns than he would care to remember, but sadly for Courcey's, the elusive titles always seem to go somewhere else for them. The Courcey selectors today are Connie O'Regan and Chris Corcoran, and of course, as we've heard on the interview already, they are trained by Kevin Kiley, who I understand holds a watching brief as a selector as well. Today's referee is Michael Harrington from Carrigaline, and he is taking charge of his first junior hurling final. Michael, who has appeared on RTE television already this season, and indeed is on the county board panel. And his officials come, of course, from Carrigaline for today's game. As the strains of the Carrigaline pipe band join the march and the two teams line up behind them, the referee and his mentors in the centre of the field have their photographs taken for press purposes. The build-up is gradually heightening, but alas, the weather still leaves a lot to be desired as another squally shower passes away to the east. The wind today blowing pretty strongly from left to right as we look at the pitch. A pitch that is renowned to favour the men from Courcey Rovers. Over the years have had more than their fair share of success here, maybe, accounting for Carrigaline, one particular outstanding memory. The men from Valley Rovers, conversely, of course, would have preferred to play it maybe someplace else, but in fairness to the men from Riverstick, the pitch is in absolutely tip-top condition. And everything now then in readiness for this junior Southeast hurling final. The Valley Rover selectors, of course, today are Gabriel O'Sullivan, who I understand is absent today because he is at this moment winging his way to the USA on holidays. He left about an hour ago, I understand, and he must be very anxious to know what might be happening here or will be within the next hour or so. Dave McCarthy, Dave, who is well known in GA circles in Valley Rovers for many's a long day now at this stage. And of course Don Looney also has a selectorial role. Don, who is the captain of the Valley Rovers team today, one of the stalwart backs who has served Valley Rovers well and long for more times than I can care to remember. Don, of course, who also plays on the back line for the Carrickdown divisional side. Also today, of course, the man of the moment, as it were, in the Valley Rovers team is probably Brendan O'Sullivan, who was for 2 years a Cork minor and 2 years played under 21 for Cork also. He played this year as centre back for Carrickdown, and may I say with all times with distinction. He won an All-Ireland junior hurling medal with Cork last season and is a surprise corner forward choice this season for Valley Rovers, whom I'm sure feel that they must add some impetus to their attack. I see that as the teams line out, already there are changes on the Courcey Rovers team. Donny Nyan lines out at full forward and Michael Callan at centre forward. Originally, you will recall that on the team sheet they were lining out in reverse positions with Michael Callan at full forward and Donny Nyan at the half forward line. The Carrigaline pipe band face the flag, the roll of the drum, and we stand for our round of in. Tells the backs and forwards to keep back from the centre of the field, and finally everything seems to be in readiness. Checks with his umpire and throws in the ball, and the South East Hurling final for 1988 is underway. And first to break away are Courcey Rovers, where the ball goes to Donny Nyan. Donny fails to get it up at the first time, goes out over there to Willie Sweetman. Comes across and Donald Crowley hits the ball in towards the goal, where it's saved in there by Michael O'Sullivan for Valley Rovers, and his high clearance up along the middle of the field, where it comes to Aidan Crowley. Aidan trying to make his way through but can't succeed in doing so. Fergie Tuig is brought to the ground, and referee Michael Harrington says that will be a free in to Valley Rovers. Fergie Tuig in some difficulty, it would appear. And it would, referee Michael Harrington signals to the first aid people from the sideline that they can come on the field. Ship to Hurley, an early tackle when the bones are cold. It hurts a little bit as the sun comes out and the flag flutters in the breeze. This will be an early scoring opportunity for Valley Rovers to draw first blood in this Southeast Junior final. And Brendan O'Sullivan, their score getter in chief this championship, will be the man with the responsibility for the free. He bends, lifts and strikes it straight over the bar, and the first score of the game goes to Valley Rovers. Puck out by Teddy Nyan in the Courcey Rovers goal. Ball comes into the middle of the field, where it comes to the hand of Dan Looney. Don doesn't get his clearance in very well. Tiggy Sullivan is there, adds to it, where it comes eventually to Martin Cronin. Martin trying to hurl the ball away but can't succeed in doing so. Comes eventually to Dennis Cummins, who pulls on it first times back into the hands of Don Looney, and Don's clearance is high up the middle of the field, hands reaching for it everywhere. Come racing out there for it is Chris O'Donovan for Valley Rovers. Chris gets his shot in, but back there is Pat Sweetman for Courcey Rovers. His clearance is blocked down, eventually gets a hand pass to John Corcoran. John's shot down the far side of the field, where it comes as far as Tiggy Sullivan for Valley Rovers. Tiggy has a foul committed upon him as he tried to get the ball away. Or I should say that Tiggy committed a foul as he tried to get the ball away for some high pulling. And there's a free to Courcey Rovers. Donny Nyan the man to take it. Donny bends, lifts, remember, into the breeze, a lowish one, blocked out there by one of the Valley Rovers backs, and TJ Deasy gets the clearance in up along the far side of the field. Running out there for it is Pat Sweetman. Pat gets the ball up and half hooks it down near that far sideline. Donny Nyan is under it, gets the ball into his hand, turns, hits the shot in field high into the wind. Underneath it there is Michael Callahan. Michael gets the better of the tussle and hits the ball along the ground. Coming across for it there is the Cannon Sweetman, and the Valley Rovers defence stands resolutely solid and gets the ball away up to where it comes eventually to Aidan Crowley. Aidan sends the ball up along the line up the far side of the weed, but back there was Pat Sweetman. Pat is beaten this time by John Shields as he gets the ball in, and the ball is hit away as John Shields gets it just as he was about to be in a scoring position. The referee acknowledges that a foul had been committed on John Shields and awards to Valley Rovers a penalty. Remember, Valley Rovers are playing with a strong wind in this first half and will need to build up a substantial lead, but certainly they are going the right way about it. So it's a semi-penalty. Brendan O'Sullivan will be the man, and I see Teddy Nyan and Michael Callahan gone back into the goal, and he blesses himself. DJ Riley is the other man, as Brendan O'Sullivan trying to find a comfortable spot to put the slitter on. Satisfied with it now, stands, steadies himself, has a look at the goals, bends, lifts and strikes it hard, and it's saved out by the Courcey Rovers defence, where coming across is Dennis Cummins. Dennis trying to get the ball down, can't succeed in doing so. Coming across one of the Valley Rovers forwards, and he sends the ball straight into the hands of Teddy Nyan, who sends it to the centre of the field, where Dennis Toomey tried to add to it, but the ball goes forward anyway. Jarvis, I beg your pardon, that's Willie Sweetnam who gets the ball down further, but that's missed by his colleague from Courcey Rovers, who was Donny Nyan, and Don Looney, who is having a fine game thus far. Martin Cronin can succeed in holding the ball, but gets his shot in just the same. Has gone back there as Gerard Nolan for Courcey Rovers. He gets the clearance out into the middle of the field. Stalemate at the moment. This is TJ Deasy. TJ, who started off wearing the helmet, but since the game is on just a little over 5 minutes, he has dispensed with that as the ball goes out over the end line, and yet another Valley Rovers scoring opportunity goes a begging. Remember the score, Valley Rovers 1 point, who Courcey Rovers have yet to score. Michael Callahan, who appears to have got a knock in the face, being attended to in the centre of the field. And certainly the men from Valley Rovers will have something to worry about in terms of missed scoring opportunity in the early minutes of this Southeast final. Michael Callahan comes off to the sideline, bleeding profusely from his mouth as the play continues in the centre of the field, where the ball is with Willie Sweetman. Gone across there is Noel Brady. Noel trying to get the ball away for Valley Rovers. He is fouled as he went over there in doing so, and referee Michael Harrington says that will be a free. TJ Deasy, shortish free up along that far wing, stopped back there by Donald Quinn, gets the ball down, but this time it only comes as far as Tiggy Sullivan. Shortish shot sent towards the goal, ball goes loose in there. Eventually it comes to Brendan O'Sullivan, who fails to get it. And the ball is to the left of the upright and wide. And yet once again the scoring machine from Valley Rovers not working as it might do. Ball comes into the centre of the field, hands raising up there for it. That was Tiggy Sullivan. Can control the ball, added to down there by Donald Crowley. This is Michael Callahan. Ball goes out over the line, far side of the field. Line ball to Valley Rovers. Sideline taken high, well into the centre, added on to there by Fergie Tuig. Ball comes eventually to full forward Chris O'Donovan. Chris trying to make way, but he's held out back there. Brendan O'Sullivan comes nipping out for the ball. It's eventually cleared out by the Courcey Rovers defence, where they make a bit of a mess of it between them. The ball eventually comes to Pat Sweetnam. He tries to get it out. This eventually is Gerard Nolan, and Jerry steadies the Courcey's defence with a fine clearance into the centre of the field, where Donny Nyan and Don Looney. Donny Nyan with the ball in his hand, trying to go around, has a shot, but the shot goes to the right of the upright on our left. Remembering to the wind
and out over the end line and wide. 7 minutes gone in this first half. As Michael O'Sullivan pucks the ball out, a mighty puck out, landing just outside the 21-yard line, or the 20-metre line in modern parlance. But we're watching TJDC trying to make his way through. Ball comes back out where it comes to Aidan Crowley. Aidan sends a high lobbing shot, dangling just outside the square. Brendan O'Sullivan reaches up for it, but the Courcey defence holds resolutely. This is Dennis Cummins trying to get the ball away. Gone back over there for it is Martin Cronin. Martin gets the ball up at the second attempt, and Brendan O'Sullivan scores a magnificent goal. A goal for Valley Rovers. They'll be happier with that effort. As the ball came across to Brendan O'Sullivan, and the Courcey goalkeeper Teddy Nyan completely unsighted. In the 8th minute of play, in the centre of the PE field, a bit of over-robust pulling, and Valley Rovers will wind up with the advantage once again. But the score reads 1 goal and 1 point for Valley Rovers, with Courcey still yet to score. Noel Brady leaves the ball this time for Brendan O'Sullivan. Brendan feels that he might point this and stretch the Valley Rovers lead, having missed the early scoring opportunities. Has that goal settled Valley Rovers, or can the men from Courceys steady themselves and turn the tide yet once again? High ball, all left of the upright and wide. I thought for a moment that it was over the bar the way the umpire moved, but it went to the left and wide, he indicated. Experienced goalkeeper in the Courcey Rovers goal, Teddy Nyan, pucks the ball out beyond the middle of the field here in a shortish pitch in Riverstick. Comes eventually to, oh, that was delightful play by Michael Callahan, and now it's Stoney Nyan who hand passes the ball into Cannon, but he can't make the connection complete, and what must surely have been a good goal scoring opportunity for Courcey Rovers goes a begging, and still leaves them to put their name on the score sheet. Michael O'Sullivan pucks the ball out, shorter puck out this time into the centre of the field, hands reaching for it everywhere. This is Michael Callahan. His clearance, or attacking as it would be, is brought down by Noel Brady. Noel can't succeed in doing so. This is TJDC. TJ gets the ball up and sends a high ball up along that far side of the field. Dropped obviously on the line or somewhere, because the ball suddenly stopped, hitting across in front of the goal. This is Martin Cronin trying to break his way through, hand passes the ball across in front of the goal, but Gerard Nolan for Courceys gets the ball away, as Fergie Toohey in a scoring position sends the ball to the right of the upright and over the end line and wide. Ten minutes in the first half. Teddy Nyan pucks the ball out. Oh, a lovely piece of catching there by Donald Quinn. Can't get his clearance in though. This time he eventually does, added to by Donny Nyan down that far side of the field. Gone out there was Willie Sweetman also. He was fouled, says referee Michael Harrington, and it will be a free in to Courcey Rovers on that far side of the field, and an opportunity for Donny Nyan to open the Courcey Rovers account. Traditionally a hard goal to score into the lower goal here in Riverstick. Donny drives the ball straight and true into the wind and over the bar, and Courcey Rovers are on the score sheet. 1 goal and 1 point for Valley Rovers, 1 point for Courceys. Michael O'Sullivan stands back and pucks the ball out high up this near side of the field. Dennis Cummins gets the better of it, goes up first. TJDC gets the ball in, sends a high attacking ball into the left of the upright. In there, underneath it, waiting for it was John Shields. He couldn't hold the ball. Aidan Crowley going for the ball far side of the field. Also with him is Donald Quinn. Donald gets the ball away, but only as far as Padraig O'Sullivan in the centre of the field. Padraig's shot across the goal, not quite gone wide, as Donny Nyan shepherds it. Eventually it does go wide, out over the end line, as Chris O'Donovan came out to pay him some attention. Teddy Nyan pucking the ball down this near side of the field, shorter one this time. Up they go, and Fergie Toohey gets to the ball first. This is TJDC for Valley Rovers, and TJ's shot is straight and true, and it's a magnificent point. Despite the attentions of John Corcoran, he even acknowledges it. And that increases the Valley Rovers lead. Back out into the centre of the field. Oh, a lovely piece of fielding once again. This time by Dennis Toomey, and the pass left a bit to be desired maybe. This is Noel Brady. He sends the ball in, but out over the end line and wide. And yet one feels that the men from Valley Rovers may yet have a case or a cause to rue, as Teddy Nyan pucks the ball out that far side of the field. Once again into the wind, gone back there for it is Tiggy Sullivan for Valley Rovers. Tiggy's clearance is a shortish one. Aidan Crowley, who does a little pulling after the ball, has gone away in as far as Chris Donovan. Oh, magnificent save by Teddy Nyan from a reflex shot by Brendan O'Sullivan, and that really is championship hurling at its best. Definitely a marvellous save from Teddy Nyan, as Brendan O'Sullivan, who came from nowhere as it was, and the pass came across and he one-handed the ball. But Teddy Nyan was equal to it. On the far side of the field, there's a line ball to Valley Rovers. Aidan Crowley is the man that cuts it, a shortish one. Poor, but it's still added to by a Valley Rovers player. Gone back there is Pat Sweetman. Pat coming away with the ball, up on his hurley. He's gone 20, 30 yards. Eventually kicks the ball where it comes to Mickey Callahan. Mickey hits the ball along the ground as a pass for Donny Nyan, but Don Looney gets there first, and he hits the ball without any messing out over the line, this near side of the field. A line ball to Courceys. Dennis Toomey, one of the new breed of the Courcey Rovers players, one of the younger ones. The linesman says he wants it a bit nearer the line. Dennis Toomey, I think, is telling him that there isn't room really to puck it from there. Trying to find a place. Walks up. Well, he eventually will, I'm sure. Here he comes now, and a fine cut in towards the goal. Hands reaching for it everywhere. But the ball goes out across where it comes to Patrick O'Leary. Pat hits the ball across in front of the goal. Coming across here for it is Mickey Callahan. Back across the goal again. Goalkeeper, oh! The goalkeeper came out and intercepted it and was very lucky that he didn't pay the price for it. But for some reason or another, the ball eventually comes to Noel Brady. Noel was charging with the ball, says referee Michael Harrington, as he came out with it. And there's a free to Courcey Rovers to narrow the gap. Donny Nyan pucks the ball over the bar to narrow the gap. 1 goal and 2 points for Valley Rovers, 2 points for Courceys. From the puck out into the centre of the field, Dennis Cummins for Courceys gets the ball, leaves it behind him, then goes back and gets it, but only as far as the Valley Rovers men. Gone back there is Martin O'Sullivan. Martin trying to get it away is fouled in doing so. And it's a free down the hill but into the wind for Courcey Rovers, and Martin O'Sullivan, the victim of the foul, will take it. Martin walks up and hits the ball now high into the wind, but the wind is like a glass wall and it comes straight down. Reaching over there for it is Willie Sweetnam. There's a bit of holding there, says referee Michael Harrington, and it's a free to Valley Rovers. Switches on the Courcey Rovers team. Donny Nyan at centre forward, Michael Callahan going to full forward as the free is taken to Valley Rovers out over the end line and wide. And remember, that wind is really, sometimes it doesn't really help as much as it should do. Teddy Nyan pucks the ball out down the far side of the field. Over there reaching for it is, oh, this is Donny Nyan as he ships a very heavy tackle. One feels that referee Michael Callahan, or Michael Harrington, I beg your pardon, might well have left the advantage with the player having shipped the tackle, and he goes back and has a little chat with Michael O'Sullivan. Or Michael O'Connell, I beg your pardon. As Donny Nyan has yet once again Tony sends the ball high as the crowd jumpantly on the far side of the field, or those of them from Courcey Rovers at any rate. And they send the ball over the bar to narrow the gap. As Valley Rovers score 1 goal and 1 point to Courcey Rovers 3 points. Ball very near the far side. Over there is Noel Brady trying to keep the ball in play, succeeds in doing so. That's Owen Burke adding to it. Ball hit in, but once again out over the end line and wide, and I counted that 7 wides that Valley Rovers have had in the opening 17 minutes of this half. Teddy Nyan pucks the ball into the centre of the field, comes to Fergus Tewig. Fergie gets the ball to Martin O'Sullivan after a bit of pushing. Dennis Cummins is paying him attention, but Martin Cronin hits the ball high and straight and true and over the bar to make the score for Valley Rovers 1 goal and 2 points, Courcey Rovers 3 points. From the puck out, the ball comes into the centre of the field. Everybody pulling away on it there. Eventually the ball comes to Donald Crowley. He gives it in turn to Dennis Toomey. Dennis hand passes the ball down that far side of the field, where pulling away on it there is Patrick O'Leary. Ball eventually comes to Tiggy O'Sullivan, and Tiggy sends a relieving clearance for Valley Rovers up along that far side of the field, where over there is Pat Sweetman. Pat pulls on the ball, gets a shortish clearance, but it's added to, and it eventually, well, it goes to stalemate. I was going to say it eventually comes to Willie Sweetman, but he can't hold on to the ball. Cleared away eventually by Valley Rovers attack. This is Aidan Crowley. Aidan gets his shot is half blocked down, where it comes into the centre to Donald Quinn. Donald's shot is shortish one in turn. Over there on the far side of the field, that's Noel Brady with the ball now, who hand passes it to Tiggy O'Sullivan, and Tiggy hits the ball out over the line, far side of the field. One really feels that some of this hurling is rather too intricate, particularly with the conditions that prevail today, where the underfoot conditions are slightly soft. The wind blows from that far side as Dennis Toomey gets under the ball and sends a magnificent cut, dropping just in the 14-yard line. Pat Leary turns and misses the ball. Michael O'Connell pays him attention, half blocks him down. Patrick O'Leary gets the shot across the front of the goal, but this time it's TJ DC. TJ is chopped by Michael Cahalan, and it's a free that the men from Valley Rovers will no doubt relish. But remember, they are playing with a strong wind. As we come up to 20 minutes gone in this first half. 1 goal and 2 points for Valley Rovers, 3 points for Courceys. Martin O'Sullivan sends the ball into the centre, but it only goes as far as Padraig O'Sullivan. He in turn lets the ball back to the Courcey Rovers defence as John Corcoran, who in turn gives the ball to Noel Brady for Valley Rovers, who sends the ball in towards the goal, but once again the ball hops in front of the goal and goes out over the end line and wide. And the score remains 1 goal and 2 points for Valley Rovers, 3 points for Courceys. And I think if this score should stay with this type of scoring, the men from Ballinspittle will be happier with it than at the break than the men from Valley Rovers. However, we stay with the play, far side of the field. Tiggy Sullivan, he's stopped by the Courcey Rovers defence. A ball is eventually added to it. This is Brendan. EJ's gone 20-30 metres, hand passes the ball outside where it comes to John Shields. John turns and hand passes the ball to Aidan Crowley. Aidan cuts inside one man and then unleashes a shot. Great save by Teddy Nyan. Turns the ball around the post for a 65-metre free, and that really is the sort of play that you would expect to grace the final, and indeed these two teams are giving us good value right at this moment. Valley Rovers then with Brendan O'Sullivan to attempt to convert this 65-metre free, and one really feels that the Valley Rovers need this score oh so badly. Brendan steadies himself, takes his puck now as the wispish shower passes away. The referee signals that all was not ready in the Courcey Rovers goal mouth, and I think he's ordering the free to be retaken. And Brendan, well, we'll never know if that one was over or not, but Brendan places the ball an inch or two outside the line. That's unusual in this day and age. Brendan hits it this time, slightly going to the right of the goal and wide. The score: Valley Rovers 1 goal and 3 points, Courcey Rovers 4 points. The sun comes out, but it's still raining wispishly, the wind blowing, strong breeze from left to right. Teddy Nyan's puck out indicates that as Donny Nyan comes raiding, fails to hold the ball, comes into Tiggy Sullivan in the middle of the field. Tiggy's shot is blocked down, comes to John Corcoran. Brendan O'Sullivan doubles on the ball first time, but out over the end line and wide. And really it is most remarkable the number of wide balls that Valley Rovers have had in this first half. While having the lion's share of the attacking play, it would appear that the wind is not doing them any great favours. As I see once again there are switches being made on the Valley Rovers team. And the men from Courceys will stay with them. This is Brendan O'Sullivan trying to get room to hit his shot in. John Corcoran is there with him. Everybody pulls away. John Corcoran breaks his stick. That's Martin Quinn, who hand passes the ball down the far side of the field, where it comes to Gerard Sweetman. Gerard sends his shot. Gerard now on the half-forward line, and it comes. Oh my goodness me! The ball hits. It's a goal! It's a goal! A goal for Courcey Rovers. Scored by Willie Sweetman. I was just making the point that he has newly added to the inside line. Gerald Sweetman now operating on the half-forward line, who sent the ball in. Michael Carlan hit the post with it, and there was Willie Sweetman on hand to finish the ball to the net, to put Courcey Rovers into the lead for the first time. As we come up to the 25th minute of this first half, and definitely the men from Courceys will be happier with their first half performance, as the name of DJ Riley, the Courcey Rovers fullback, for a little over-enthusiastic pulling back there, gets written into the book. Brendan O'Sullivan has a free on the 20-metre line, slightly to the left of the goal. He sends the ball. Oh, was he trying for a goal? Oh, hits the post and wide. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it was the back of the upright. At the second time of asking, it was Martin Cronin. Brendan O'Sullivan had a 20-metre free. I wonder, did he go for a goal? He hit the ball low, fair enough, but it seemed to be, well, about crossbar height. Teddy Nyan blocked it out. It came to Martin Cronin. Ball is wide. Brendan O'Sullivan under the puck out. Shortish one. Brendan trying to make room. Sends a high lobbing ball in around the square. Hands reaching up for it. Courcey Rovers Hurley gets it out there. Ball's danger still has not passed for the Courceys, but it has now. That's Martin O'Sullivan. He gets the ball out as far as TJ DC. TJ will look for the point, but he hits the ball across in front of the goal and out over the end line and wide. And once again, the men from Valley Rovers not being done any favours by the breeze. You could see how he hit the ball across the goal to allow for the breeze, but he overcompensated. As DJ Riley rather gingerly holds himself, referee Michael Harrington says there's nothing wrong with that, we'll go on with the game. Pucks the ball out into the centre of the field. Added to there, that's Donny Nyan. He sends it further down the field, but Michael O'Connell comes out and he gets the ball, but alas, it goes for him out over the sideline, far side of the field, and that will be a free for Courcey, or a line ball for Courcey Rovers, and Dennis Toomey will be the one to take it. Dennis walking back, testing the hurley, and cuts it now. Oh, a lovely cut. High, dropping just outside the large parallelogram. Whipped on by first Michael Carlan and then Willie Sweetman. Neither one of them made contact with it. The Valley Rovers back eventually got the ball out over the line, far side of the field. From the line ball, quickly taken. The ball comes over there to John Corcoran. In across the goal. Hurley's whipping away on it there, but this is Don Looney. Don gets it, despite the attentions of Donald Crowley, gets the ball out over this near sideline, just about on the 20-metre line, and that will be a line ball to Courcey Rovers. Dennis Toomey, who moments ago on the other side of the field had a magnificent cut, might well be within his compass to cut this one over the bar. We shall see. Not much room on the sideline down there as he walks back and cuts the ball. A lowish one this time, stopped back there by Tygo O'Sullivan, and the ball to the right of the upright on our left and wide. Michael O'Sullivan, as we enter the final phase of this first half with the puck out. Courcey Rovers, remember, leading by 1 point, 1-4 to 1-3 for Valleys. Brendan O'Sullivan, 2 Courcey players around him, gets his puck in anyway, high into the centre, blocked out there. Eventually it comes to Aidan Crowley. Aidan turns and sends the ball across in front of the goal, and once again it's wide. And really one feels that the men from Valley Rovers might well have left this Southeast final after them here. Having had the better part of the play, it seems almost unfair that the scoreboard should reflect the scoreline as Michael Harrington blows the half-time whistle. And as both of these teams rush off to the dressing room, the score is 1 goal and 4 points for Courcey Rovers, 1 goal and 3 for Valley Rovers. We'll be with you for the second half shortly. We are at the half-time break with the men from Valley Rovers leading, or the men from Courcey Rovers rather, leading by 1-4 to 1-3. Paddy, your initial reaction to that?
Well, I think Courceys are in with a great chance now. Valley Rovers certainly have missed an awful lot of scores. In the second half, if Courcey Rovers use the wind, which I'm sure they will, I certainly see the title going to the Courcey.
What have you to say about that, Leo? Is that how you see it right now?
Real championship class. First time hurling, very good first half from Courcey's point of view. A lot of scores wasted on the Valley side, no doubt about it. The wind out there is very erratic. I think I said it before the game that this wind was going to play a big feature of the scoring. But I think, you know, Valleys have a good bit left in them yet. And I
so you say not all hope is gone yet?
Oh my God, no way. No way, very way. There's 30 minutes championship hurling left in all of it. And, well, whoever will win this game will have to be the better side.
On the commentary there earlier on, I'm sure I might have made the same mistake as everybody else. It appeared to me that TJDC scored what looked to me like a great point. Obviously it wasn't recorded because I've just spoken with Michael Harrington and he says that the ball went over the upright. How did you see that?
Oh, I thought about a yard inside the upright. In fact, TJ's marker complimented him sportingly. As soon as TJ struck the ball, the man patted him on the back and said, well done, his marker. Which is a virtual, to my mind, was a confirmation of the score.
The Courcey Rovers goal, of course, was one of the better parts of their play all day today. How did you see that score?
Yeah, I suppose Courceys were rather fortunate to get the goal. Michael Callan struck the post, but Willie Sweetman was there on hand to strike it into the empty net. And fair play, Willie took the score until there. I be inclined to agree with my Valley Rovers men here that the second half, there's 30 minutes still left of championship hurling, and the title, well, with the win, it should go in Courcey's favour, but still, one never knows, and I'm sure Valley Rovers won't give up until the final whistle.
Okay, you're saying the title is going to Courcey's by how much, Paddy?
I'd imagine 2 or 3 points. I'd be dead happy with 2 or 3 points at this stage.
2 or 3 points, he's moving. How do you see it, Leo?
Well, one will do whoever wins it, but I do think the gap will be very tight at the finish of it, and I'm hoping the Rovers will get their shooting a bit more in order than they had in the first half. I think the wind will, you know, while it is carrying the ball a long way, it's also carrying it away off the target, and that's a fact.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll talk to you again after the game. And look up, looking down, right. Look up and talk. Yeah. As the strains of the Carrigaline Pipe Band play the slow march in the background. Once again, I am talking with John Newman from Valley Rovers and Sean Murphy from Courceys. A happier Sean at this stage, I would say.
Well, you know, we are playing well. I think the half-back line in particular are playing very well. And, you know, but still, there's a half an hour to go, and
nevertheless, Courcey Rovers have made many positional changes during that first half of the game. Was that because they were weak at the start?
Not particularly, no, but you know, different players, you know, they play different. Each day they come out, you know. Like Willie Sweetman went in into the full forward line, and he got the goal. That's making the difference. You see, well, no, we're happy enough this was really at half-time.
John, you're not so happy at the half-time score.
Not so happy, but still very hopeful. I think that wind is more of a disadvantage than an advantage. It has suited Courceys in the sense that they have played controlled hurling against it, our hurling has been a bit disarrayed, could I say, and our wides from play have been rather wild. Our full forward line hasn't stuck to its spot, should I say, for some of those dropping balls for wide, and I think that has made a difference.
Nevertheless, you missed probably a couple of goal-scoring chances in that first half.
Yes, we did, but I think that is probably the alertness of the Courceys, especially their cornerbacks. They've held very tight to their positions, whereas ours haven't.
You two, of course, have made positional switches during the first half. Was that because the team wasn't picked the right way?
Well, I suppose like every game, and especially a final, things don't work according to plan. You take your chance on the day on certain positions. Probably in the moving of Brendan Sullivan outfield, it has opened up play outfield for us, but it has weakened our inside power play.
A final prediction, Sean?
I still stay with that I said we should get them by a point or two.
John?
Well, I said before the game 4 or 5 points. At this stage, I'd be very happy with a point.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you both very much. We'll talk to you again afterwards. Tell me when you're ready. As the second half gets underway, and once again it's the opposite team playing against the conditions of the first to break away. The ball has gone back down there for Teddy Nyan. Oh my goodness, a goal! Oh my goodness me, a goal for Valley Rovers. What a way to start the second half. Will this change the game around again? Teddy Nyan with seemingly, I thought first the ball was gone wide, but Teddy blocked it out, and from the puck out in the centre of the field, it's TJDC. Sends the ball in high, but gone back there is Gerard Nolan. Gerard hand passes the ball out the far side of the field where it's cleared out. Donny Nyan for Courceys trying to add on to it, and definitely Valley Rovers hurling with a little more determination. This is Gerard Sweetman. Gerard is fouled as he went free to Courceys, having been shocked by that seemingly most innocent of bowls in the first instance. Donny Nyan's low shot over the bar to make the score in the second minute, to 2 goals and 3 points to 1 goal and 5. Fergus Twig adding to the ball, sending it down along the field. Chris O'Donovan with a great point scoring opportunity, but Teddy Nyan once again was on hand. Gone back there for Valley Rovers is Donald, or Courcey Rovers is Donald Crowley. Ball eventually comes to TJDC in the centre of the field. TJ steadies himself and sends a high attacking ball in across the goal, where it comes to Martin Cronin. Martin shot is blocked out, but there's hey, that's a goal! Racing through. Hook, does he try to get his shot in? Gets the ball up eventually into his hand and sends the ball across in front of the goal. Out over the end line and wide. Sorry, please. Michael O'Sullivan in the Valley Rovers goal, pucks the ball out high down that far side of the field. Hands reaching for it everywhere. Eventually it's a Courcey Rovers man. This is Gerard Sweetman. Gerard trying to get the ball up along. Gone back there for it is Don Looney. Despite the attentions of Mickey Callahan, Don goes on a little solo run, gives a little pass, then another one. Comes down on the far side of the field, where it comes eventually to the waiting Dennis Cummins, all alone. Fergus Twig gives the despairing pass. This is Mickey Callahan. Shot is blocked down. Got away eventually by Pat O'Mahony. But the referee saw some high pulling there and awards a free to Courcey Rovers, and Donny Nyan goes to retrieve the ball and brings it back 40 metres from the Valley Rovers goal, and the wind behind him, remember. Donny bends, lifts and strikes it lowish into the hands of Mickey Callan, who fails to cut it. Ball coming across where it eventually is hit by Pat O'Leary out over the end line and wide, or I beg your pardon, for a 65. Martin O'Sullivan placing the ball, steadying himself, walks up and hits the ball high and over the bar to narrow that gap a little bit once again. Valley Rovers 3 goals and 3 points. Courcey Rovers 1 goal and 6. 3 points between the teams. Over there on the far side of the field, that's John Shields. Ball goes off his hurley, out over the line, far side of the field. It'll be a line ball to Courceys. Gerard Nolan placing the ball, testing the hurley, cuts it now, shortish cut this time, where it comes to John Shields again. John looks up for somebody to give the ball to, runs it out on his hurley, then gives a lobbing sort of pass in towards Brendan O'Sullivan. Shot is blocked down as he tries to go through. This is Aidan Crowley. Gone back over there is Martin Cronin. Martin keeps the ball from going wide, but only does so that the Courcey Rovers player can do it. The Courcey Rovers player is Pat Sweetman. I beg your pardon, is Donald Quinn, and he is fouled, and the net result is that there's a free out for Courcey Rovers, and Martin O'Sullivan will be the free taker. Martin O'Sullivan, high ball, wind assisted landing 35 metres from the Valley Rovers goal. This is Donny Nyan. Donny gone a little solo run, attempted to pass it, missed the pass, lets the ball behind him, blocked back there by a Valley Rovers player, goes off a Courcey Rovers player, eventually out over the line ball for Valley Rovers on the far side of the field. And Pat O'Mahony steadies the ball, a poor cut where it comes into the centre. Donald Quinn, Donny Nyan gets the ball straight into his hand and makes no mistake and sends the ball over the bar to narrow that gap once again. And we really have a tit for tat junior hurling final here in Riverstick, playing 6 minutes in the second half. Ball dropping in the centre of the field where Fergus Thuig unmarked gets the second bite of the cherry and gets the ball away down, this time as far as Martin Cronin. Martin can't get it up. This is Aidan Crowley. Aidan gone on a little solo run, then hand passes the ball forward, but only goes as far as Gerard Nolan, and Gerard's shot comes high out this near side of the field where it comes to Donny Nyan nipping across to get it. Attempts to pass the ball inside to nobody in particular. This is Gerard Sweetman, gets the ball up into his hand, tries to make room, hand passes the ball out to Donny Nyan. Donny trying to make room as well, is tackled by 2, overcarries the ball, says referee Michael Harrington. And it's a free that the men from Valley Rovers will be relieved to get. Noel Brady, centre back for Valley Rovers, takes it without any messing, let me tell you, gets onto it. Ball drops down between forwards and backs, everybody reaching for it. Added to there eventually by a Valley Rovers hurley. Ball near the end line, far side of the field. That's Pat Sweetman gone across there. Remember, Pat was doubtful before today's game. Only announced on the team just before the match. This is John Corcoran. Fergus Thuig gets the ball away from him. TJ DC with it now. TJ sends it down along that far side of the field where John Shields tries to get it in his hand but can't succeed in doing so. And this is Donald Crowley. Donald playing deep now for Courcey Rovers. Sends the ball up where it's blocked out by a Valley Rovers hurley. Ball coming into the centre of the field, and this is Gerard Sweetman. Gerard trying to get room to get his shot in. Succeeds in doing so. It's a goal! Oh my goodness! A most innocent, innocuous looking shot. Deceived goalkeeper Michael O'Sullivan in the goal to put Courcey Rovers back into the lead on a scoreline of 2 goals and 7 points to Valley Rovers 3 goals and 3. Padraig Sullivan in the centre of the field gets the ball, sends his team attacking again where it's headed to down there by Owen Burke. Owen we haven't seen an awful lot of in this game. Eventually the ball comes back to Padraig Sullivan, cleared out by the Valley Rovers defence. Padraig Sullivan was fouled as he tried to make his way through. And it's a free to Valley Rovers, 55 metres from the Courcey Rovers goal. But remember, into the wind as Aidan Crowley You'll see his shirt blowing in the wind as he steadies himself and sends the ball in towards the goal. The wind turns it out to the right. Of course, the Rovers Hurley gets it away a bit. Fergus Twig is there to add to it. Also with him is Donald Crowley. John Shields eventually gets the ball out dangerously near that line, over that line on the far side of the field, and it's a line ball to Courcey Rovers. Remember, Courcey's playing with the wind, but really this match turns first one way and then another. Dennis Cummins, happy that his team are back in front once again. 2 goals and 7 for Courceys, 3 goals and 3 for Valley Rovers. That's 13 points to 12. Dennis Cummins has caught it high up that far side of the field. Fergus Tui can't control it, gets his Hurley under it and then clears it in to send his team attacking once again. This is Chris O'Donovan. Chris shot is half blocked as he hits it. Gone back there for no danger for Courcey Rovers there for a minute. This is John Shields. It's the side netting. It's not a goal. Few people around me thought for a moment that it might have been a goal. And one really wonders why Valley Rovers are so intent on getting goals at this early stage in the game. Teddy Nyan pucks the ball out, landing about 3/4 ways up this shortish river stick pitch. Ball goes loose in there, everybody whooshing it. This is Brendan O'Sullivan for Valley Rovers. Beside him is Gerald Sweetman. That's Donald Crowley's shot is blocked. There's a little holding on there. John Corcoran was the man doing the holding. The man he was holding was Pat O'Mahony, and the referee says it's a free to Valley Rovers. Valley Rovers fullback Don Looney takes the free, shopping about 40 metres from the Courcey goal. A little high pulling on or about the side of Donald Crowley, and I noticed that Donald Crowley is back in his own half back line as often as he is in his rightful left half forward position. This is Martin O'Sullivan. Martin, I think Martin took rather too much out of it. Follows it up and hits it again anyway. Ball comes to Fergie Tuig eventually. Fergie's beaten. I thought he was beaten there for a moment by Gerald Sweetman. It's a free to Courcey Rovers. Donny Lyon with the heavily bandaged knee. One of the reasons that the Courcey Rovers mentors have been slow to play Donny outfield this season. And this time Donny sends the ball to the right and wide. 12 minutes gone in this second half. Puck out into the centre of the field. Lovely piece of catching there by Dennis Toomey, but the ball breaks away from him. It goes over there where it's added to by Noel Brady for Valley Rovers, only as far as Donald Crowley. Donald having a fine game for Courcey Rovers. Gone back there for this Pat O'Mahony. Underneath the ball once again is Donald Crowley. Gerald Sweetman trying to get it, but it's cleared out there. This time as far as Dennis Cummins. Dennis turns and hits a high ball in towards the goal mouth, out over the end line and wide. And one wonders if the men from Courcey Rovers will have the same problem as the Valley Rovers men had in the first half. Dennis Toomey gets first to the ball, pulled unfairly or pushed unfairly from behind, says referee Michael Harrington. And that's a free once again to Courcey Rovers. Donny Lyon missed one from a similar position just a few moments ago. Donny steadies himself and hits this one. Is better. It's straight and true and over the bar. To make the score for Courcey Rovers, 2 goals and 8 points, 3 goals and 3 for Valley Rovers. Donny Lyon really having a fine game today also for Courcey Rovers. It's Willie Sweetman adding to it. That's Patrick O'Leary coming up. Dennis Toomey whipping on the ball first time, but he too suffers from the wide-itis that everybody playing into that goal today seems to be suffering from, and he sends the ball to the right as well and wide. Michael O'Sullivan pucks the ball out in the Valley Rovers goal, out into the centre of the field. Hurley's reaching for it everywhere, a bit of stalemate. Once again, that's man Donald Crowley getting under the ball, trying to make room to get his switch and falls over the line really, and the ball goes with him. Line ball for Valley Rovers, far side of the field. Noel Brady. Oh, lovely cut from an almost standing position, straight into the hands of Pat Sweetman, but Pat fails to hold it. This time the ball is with Martin Cronin. Martin clearance is brought down. This is John Shields gone after him. Is Dennis Toomey down there? They're still with the Valley Rovers men. This is Martin Cronin, hit across in front of the goal, held back there by Martin O'Sullivan. Martin steers out into the centre of the field where Donny Nyan, as ever, is always on hand. Pat O'Leary reaching up for it, can't control it. Gone back there is Mickey Callahan. With him is Pat O'Leary, sends the ball across in front of the goal. Noel Brady for Valley Rovers trying to get the ball away, mishits the ball, gets a second bite at the cherry. Gone back there to help him is Padraig O'Sullivan. Padraig has gone on a solo run 20 metres, gets his clearance in, missed by Dennis Toomey in the centre of the field, where it's once again Donald Crowley. Donald having a magnificent game, playing in the half back line I feel at the moment in time, because I see Dennis Cummins is up there on the far side. This is Martin O'Sullivan. Martin sends the ball into the centre, missed by everybody, and Michael O'Sullivan in the Courcey goal makes sure of it this time. Oh, a lovely piece of robbery there by Padraig O'Sullivan in the centre of the field. His clearance is blocked down. This is Fergie Tuig, but now the ball is with Donny Nyan. Donny sends the ball in high. Coming out for it is Michael Callahan. He ships two heavy tackles, looks up at the thing, but this time he sends it wide as well. 15 minutes gone in the second half. Courcey Rovers 2 goals and 8 points. Valley Rovers 3 goals and 3. That's 14 points to 12, 2 points between them. As Michael O'Sullivan pucks the ball out without any fuss. Really everybody's anxious to get on with this. Dennis Toomey shipping a very heavy tackle in the centre of the field. Brendan O'Sullivan looks a little dazed also from it. Free to Courcey Rovers. Just a little more maybe than 40 metres from the Valley Rovers goal, dead straight in front of the goal. Donny bends and strikes it straight and through and over the bar to increase the Courcey Rover lead to 2 goals and 9 points for Courcey Rovers, 3 goals and 3 for Valley Rovers. That makes it 1 goal between the teams. Noel Brady sends a clearance down the far side of the field, but out over the line into the crowd, and that will be a line ball once again for Courcey Rovers. Aidan Crowley clapping his hurley, urging his players on. Linesman signals to Dennis Toomey that he all is ready to take the line ball. Dennis steadies himself and cuts a lovely cut into the centre. Nobody there underneath the ball, but coming forward for it is Don Looney. Don chopped as he went through, and that's a free to Valley Rovers from their own half-back position. And back there is Noel Brady. Noel, a poor shot comes into the hand of Dennis Cummins. Dennis, careless with the clearance, comes eventually to TJDC. Donny Nyan in the centre of the field, pulls away on it first time, sends it out towards the line, far side of the field, where over there is Michael Callahan and Pat O'Mahony. Michael Callahan eventually gets the ball in, where Don Looney comes racing out for it, misses it at the first occasion, gets a second bite at it and sends it into the centre of the field, where it comes to Fergie Tuig. Fergie gets the ball up where it's coming to Chris O'Donovan. Chris free roving full forward out in the centre of the field at this moment in time, but the ball is cleared away eventually by Donald Quinn. Once again it's cleared back in by the Valley Rovers defence, where over there waiting for it is Martin Cronin. Martin in the corner forward position presently. Along there with him also is Aidan Crowley. Aidan trying to get the ball inside. Aidan is fouled as he tried to get his shot in, and referee Michael Harrington blows his whistle and says it's a free in to Valley Rovers, just a little outside the 20-metre line, very near the sideline on the far side of the field. And this will be a score that Aidan Crowley will want oh so badly. He throws away the helmet as he bends, lifts and strikes the ball high and straight and over the bar to narrow that gap. 2 goals and 9 points for Courcey Rovers, 3 goals and 3 for Valley Rovers. We are playing 18 minutes in the second half as Teddy Nyan pucks the ball out from the Courcey Rovers side of the field. Don Looney, stalwart fullback for Valley Rovers, gets this clearance in. This time it comes to TJ DC. TJ trying to get his clearance in, succeeds in doing so at the second time of asking. As racing down on this far side of the field is John Shields. John sends a poor shot in towards the goal, but something might come of a jet. This is Owen Burke. Owen, shot is blocked out. Sends the ball out to John Shields again. John pretends to go left and goes right and sends the ball, looking for the point, sending the ball high. And in the end, the wind catches it and takes it oh so wide out over the end line on that lower side of the field and wide. The score remains 2 goals and 9 for Courceys, 3 goals and 4 for Valley Rovers. 13 points to 15. The advantage with Courcey Rovers, and indeed the advantage of the wind is with Courcey Rovers. As the play is held up, as there is a substitute on both teams. This is Chris O'Donovan, and a really heavy tackle on the Valley Rovers forward by the Courcey fullback DJ O'Reilly. Wins for Valley Rovers the free, but one really feels that the play should have been left develop at the time, because Martin Cronin was the victim of the tackle and maybe more was on. However, Aidan Crowley will be the man to take the free. He sends the ball straight and through and over the bar to narrow the gap yet once again. And this really, as I said earlier on, is a tit-for-tat final, and anything could happen. As I see another substitute coming on the Valley Rovers team. That's Gerard O'Sullivan. As Martin Cronin has gone off earlier on, Owen Burke went off the Valley Rovers team. Teddy Nyan with the puck out sends the ball high up the far side of the field, and it really is a long one where it comes over there to Paddy Corcoran, his first touch of the ball, but he fails to hold it. He gets a second bite of the cherry, however, and he's gone back there, but it's got away from him. This is Noel Brady for Valley Rovers. Noel, who tries to, at the second attempt, also gets his clearance in, comes to Fergus Tewig. That's Aidan Crowley with the helmet back on his head once again. Coming across the side, this is Chris O'Donovan. Chris shot, I beg your pardon. Pascal Hennessy, I should say, rather. Pascal, the sub who came on a few moments ago for the Valley Rovers team, attempting to make the ball go goalwards, as it were. Teddy Nyan raises the ball up before he pucks it out. Shorter puck out this time into the centre of the field. Chris Donovan. This is Fergus Tewig. Fergus trying to get room to get his shot in, eventually does so. Goes as far as Chris O'Donovan. Chris now playing on the half-forward line for Valley Rovers. Heads a high ball in towards the goal, where it's held in there by Teddy Nyan as Pascal Hennessy tried to pull on it. Ball dropping out, that's Brendan O'Sullivan. Brendan now operating at centre back for Valley Rovers. Brendan, who sends a hard clearance down the field, but this one only goes as far as Donald Quinn. But a foul has been committed on Aidan Crowley as he was trying to go through with the ball. This time Aidan throws the helmet away once again, picks himself up gingerly and says that, well, he'll take the free anyway. Aidan steadies himself, sends the ball in towards the goal, high and over the bar to tie the teams up. 2 goals and 9 points for Courcey Rovers, 3 goals and 6 for Valleys. Level pegging, can we have this draw? And I think we would have a big crowd back here once again if these two teams were to finish level. TJDC Gone solo run, 20 metres, 30 metres. He's being chased by Donald Crowley. He gives the ball inside to John Shields. A goal! A goal for Valley Rovers. 5 minutes left in the game, and Valley Rovers go into a 1-goal lead. A player lying injured on the ground. Really superb piece of hurling from the attack, built down the right-hand wing and sent across and hit with tremendous authority. John Shields, the player who scored the goal, was the one who shipped the tackle, I think, as soon as he hit the ball. Referee Michael Harrington goes in and has a chat with his umpire. He's now going over to the far side of the field to have a chat with the linesman. It would appear that he's happy that nothing untoward happened on there as John Shields picks himself up. He won't be too unhappy with that piece of play anyway. Teddy Nyan pucks the ball into the centre of the field, hands reaching for it everywhere. Coming away with it is Padraig O'Sullivan. Padraig kicks the ball down. Remember, the men from Valley Rovers are one of the scorers, added to there once again by John Shields. This is Gerard O'Sullivan coming out for the ball. 3-4 Valley Rovers players around the ball, everybody hooshing away at it. Comes again to John Shields. John, this time the ball is taken off him by Dennis Toomey. The ball eventually got out into the centre of the field. We're gone across, racing for it there is TJDC. He lets it to Noel Brady. Noel gets his puck in down along the far side of the field, where it comes to Dennis Cummins. Dennis tries to do a solo run, loses control, then regains it and gets his clearance in up into the centre, where reaching for the ball is Don Looney. Don come racing out across the field and into the centre, where TJDC sends a high attacking ball down into the Courcey Rovers defence. The ball eventually comes to Aidan Crowley. Aidan, a shortish puck in towards the goal. Teddy Nyan holds the ball in the goal, gets his clearance out into the centre. Reaching up for it there is Noel Brady along with Mickey Callahan. Noel gets the better of it, where the ball comes into the centre. TJDC adds to it, sends the ball down. Got out there again by Donald Quinn, where it comes here in front of us to Chris O'Donovan. Chris mishits the shot the first time, tries to get the ball up the second time, ships a shoulder and then sends an attacking ball for Valley Rovers in towards the goal. Gerard O'Sullivan pulls on it, but it's in the hand of the ever-safe Teddy Nyan. This time his shot is blocked down as he gets it out. John Shields gone across there to it. Dennis Cummins goes back to retrieve it. Fergie too weak for Valley Rovers, sends the ball in. This is Martin O'Sullivan for Courcey Rovers, I beg your pardon. Donald Crowley, who really has had a magnificent game today, brings the ball out of defence, where it comes to Donny Nyan. Donny hand passes the ball across into the centre, where it comes to Dennis Toomey. Dennis Toomey sends a high attacking ball where there's a lot of holding going on, but Don Looney, I beg your pardon, with Patrick O'Leary. Patrick O'Leary gets the ball around him, where it comes to Pat O'Mahony. Pat O'Mahony gets the ball to Chris O'Donovan, but the referee spotted a little pulling, or a little high pulling there, and it'll be a free, a relieving clearance, I'm sure, for the men from Valley Rovers. 3 minutes, I reckon, left in the game. It's Brendan O'Sullivan, who is in no hurry at all, and who could blame him to take this free? Remember, Valley Rovers lead 4-6 to 2 goals and 9. From the free, the ball comes to Donald Quinn. Donald's shot is high up into the centre. Brendan O'Sullivan, a magnificent catch, sends the ball back into the centre of the field, where Chris O'Donovan, but it's got away there, comes to Dennis Cummins. Dennis, who sends the ball in towards the centre. Pat O'Leary tries to get it, can't succeed in doing so. It comes to Jared Sweetman. He's gone around his man. He tries to hit the ball, but he can't. He eventually hits it. A great save by Martin O'Sullivan in the goal. Ball isn't gone yet. That's Paddy Corcoran gone back there. The ball must be out over the line. It's a 65. The referee, Michael Harrington, is calling for it. In the
There's no holes in that.
Martin O'Sullivan with the ball in the centre of the field, and Martin really must be wondering what he should do. He's going for his shortish one, dropping the ball in near the goal, but it drops out over the end line and wide. And the score remains 4 goals and 6 points for Valley Rovers, 2 goals and 9 for Courceys. That's 18 points to 15. Valley Rovers lead. Michael O'Sullivan pucking the ball out down that far side of the field. Fergie Tuig reaches high into the sky for it as he sends the ball down where it goes to Owen Burke is there. But the ball is cleared back over the line, far side of the field. It'll be a line ball to Valley Rovers as we enter the last minute. Linesman signals to TJDC that the line ball is for him. TJ places the ball to his satisfaction in no particular hurry, and as I said earlier on, who indeed could blame him? TJ walks back, walks up now and cuts the ball. Oh, a shortish one in towards the centre. Everybody was expecting a long one. This is Fergie Tuig. Fergie is knocked to the ground as he gets there. He drops the hurley to palm the ball away, and it's a free to Courcey Rovers. Can Courcey Rovers pull this game out of the fire as they make what might well be their last attack of this game? Dennis Cummins, in his hurry to get the ball, lets it behind him, sets the ball down. Fergie Tuig lying on the ground. Dennis Cummins hits a high, shortish ball. I don't think that's what he intended. Gone back over there for it is Dennis Cummins, but there also is John Shields for Valley Rovers. That's Chris O'Donovan, and Chris O'Donovan sets once again the wind from Valley Rovers attacking. Gone high there is Gerard O'Sullivan. This is Pascal Hennessy. Wide. As we tick over normal time, we now enter whatever the referee Michael Harrington might add on, as Teddy Nyan pucks the ball out into the centre, as the referee Michael Harrington blows the whistle that confirms that Valley Rovers, the men from Inishannon, are the Southeast champions for the first time in 20 years. It's exactly 20 years ago today that the men from Valley Rovers won the Southeast, or last won the Southeast Championship, and agonisingly for the men from Ballinspittle, the long wait has to go on. The scoreline: Valley Rovers 4 goals and 6 points, Courcey Rovers 2 goals and 9. On behalf of the officers and the members of the Southeast Board, it is my very great pleasure today to pay tribute to 2 fine sporting teams today. I've been at many Southeast finals, but I don't think I've seen anyone finer than today's game, to be truthful. To the men from Courcey Rovers, you have indeed our undying gratitude for having played so well, and indeed our most sincere commiserations, because very seldom could a team have played so well and still not go away the winner. But today, alas, that was your lot. By saying that, of course, I wish to pay an inverted, if you will, compliment to the strength and the power and the delightful hurling that Valley Rovers showed us today. Congratulations. It's been a game that's ebbed and flowed, and Jim Forbes was talking to me about it during the week, and he predicted a draw for this one too, and for a little while there I thought he might even be right. Today also, of course, we pay our special thanks to the Onabuy Inn in the person of Mr. Barry Collins, because they are the ones that sponsor the Junior Hurling Championship, and I'm sure that he will have been well pleased and well served by what was served up for him here today. We also wish to thank our sponsors and our advertisers, and of course you, the general public, who came today to support us so magnificently despite the weather conditions. Our thanks indeed to our referee Michael Harrington. Well done, Michael, that was a fine game. You've did us proud. And of course to the host club here at Riverstick, the Ballymartle club, who worked tirelessly in very difficult conditions for these last couple of days to have everything so right. However, enough from me today, enough ado about the South East final. And one word, if I might please. It is my very special privilege today to invite Mr. Padjo Cronin, our esteemed and long-serving secretary, to present the cup to the winning captain, Don Looney. Before we go any further and to give Don Looney a chance to gather his thoughts together, we will do the Man of the Match award, because this has a special quirk in it. And to announce that, may I introduce to you Mr. Donald Coleman, who once again kindly this year it presents the Man of the Match award. Donny.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour for me here again today to have the honour of presenting the Man of the Match award. Now, I've been doing this since 1977, and believe it not, since that time, Valley Rovers or Courcey Rovers have never contested the South East final. So it is my first opportunity of presenting the Man of the Match to either Courcey Rovers or Valley Rovers. Right, I keep in suspense. There were some great displays today. Actually, it was a majority decision. It was not a unanimous decision, but it was a majority decision between two players of one club. So you'll know in a minute now who that was. Now, there were some great displays by Courcey Rovers in the persons of Donny Nine, Donald Crowley and Martin O'Sullivan. Brendan O'Sullivan of Valley Rovers, John Shields, but there were two players that the judges disagreed on, and I am referring to two Valley Rovers players. So I've left out one player, but I suppose I should mention that he is very unlucky that he's not getting the trophy. And to me, he played a fantastic game. That's TJDC. But the verdict is to the captain, your very worthy captain, Don Looney.
Jesus Christ. Fuck's sake. No, you've been talking about now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winning captain, Don Looney.
Jesus Christ, Christ, I didn't know what to say. It's the first time I was ever speechless. But, well, it was. This is the most important thing in the lads. We've been waiting 20 years for this. And we have it today, lads. Well, we wouldn't have got to this post without the effort they put in from the players. Most of all, and they put in a fierce effort this year, lads. And the selectors, Davy Carty and Gabby Sullivan, who's missing today, lads, who's gone to New York, lads. I take 3 cheers to them. Then I suppose the supporters, and I suppose most of all Mary Crowley, who's missing today, who was on us all year and who got married last Saturday. But her sister took over today and she done a fine job, I think, I think another thing, lads, over the young fellas, there was a young team today. I think the men that brought us up through the years, lads, overall under 12 and under 14 and under 16 and minor, I think, Father Murphy, lads. And I take a big cheer for him, lads. And I think only for him, I think we wouldn't be here today, I think. So, lads, that's all I have to say. I can't think anymore. Only Ennis Shannon is the place to be tonight. 3 cheers for Courcey Rovers now, lads. Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray! Hip hip, hooray!